Welcome back everybody to another video. This is Chris from CTJ and I'm bringing you guys our first deck profile on this channel. I am doing the red and yellow Super Saiyan Son Goku Surge leader as promised in the last video. I will be making the red and blue, the red and green leader here within the next few days. And I wanted to give you guys this one just because. Now if you guys followed the Dragon Ball Super scene at all, Chicago Regionals just happened last weekend, and this leader took first, second, and third place. Pretty amazing leader, does a lot of things, and I changed this build up in particular to match sort of my playstyle, which I will put on Dragon Ball Super decks. There'll be a link down in the description below so you guys can check it out. You guys can see price wise how everything is and see if it fits kind of your fancy. Also, I didn't want to spend the money on Topo, which is one of the reasons. It's one of the cards I'm not running, which is something probably everybody else would run. So with this leader, it's a red and yellow leader, so it counts as both, which is awesome. When this card attacks, you draw 2 cards, then choose 1 card in your hand and place it in the drop area. It's good for resetting your hand, being able to get the cards that you need. It's also a lot of drawing power between this and the Awakened ability, because the Awakened side has no drawing power at all. So kind of makes up for that. The Awakened Surge ability, how these work, you can basically do this whenever. But you choose 1 card, 1 red and 1 yellow, place it underneath this leader, you draw 3 cards, you restand 1 energy, and then you flip. So you're able to take three extra cards that turn, flip 1 mana, put 2 cards underneath your leader, and then you're good to go. For this effect here, so for the Awakened side, this has the effect is an active main and an active battle, which means it can be used on both offense and defense and on your main phase. If your life is at 5 or less, you choose 1 card underneath this, pitch it, and then you can either choose all your opponent's battle cards, negate their abilities, ignoring barrier for the duration of the turn, or you can give this card 10k and crit. The first ability, being able to basically negate your entire enemy's board, is great for offense and in defense. Great for offense if you're trying to go for the killing blow, you want to put this down. You're using your double strike Champa or whatever, and you just pitch 1 card, and then all their blockers, all their revenge abilities, all that stuff kind of goes away. Auto abilities, I did find out they don't go through for the enemy, so they go into a pending state, so they can't actually be used at all. And then it's great for defense too, because if somebody has a triple strike, or they have a triple strike crit, or dual attack, or whatever, you basically can just pitch a card, and end their turn basically by doing that. It's almost like a weird version of Nimbus. This is my leader. You'll see with this deck, my idea for this deck is I really want to try to end the game turn 3. And what I mean by that is I want to be able to remove my entire opponent's hand by the end of turn 3. That's my goal. If I can do that, turn 4 and turn 5, the game should be over. If it's not, I have a few tech cards in here that should help me out a little bit with that, but I've actually haven't gotten to that point. I've played this deck about 5 times. I'm 4-1 with it at the locals that I've played at. One time I lost was to Baby, so I had to make some adjustments there. So we'll start at the top here. I have my 3 flying Nimbus, best negate in the game. My deck is very multicolor, but it's also very yellow heavy. So running the Nimbus is fine. You pitch a yellow, you negate the attack, and then they can only attack 1 more time. I'm thinking about running 4 of this. There's a card in here that I'll show that I may be taking out. It just depends on how it plays this weekend. We have a tournament to go to, so I'm going to see what's going on with that. Run 1 Denial of Hope. Sorry, keep going over the top here. I run 1 Denial of Hope. This is mainly for Baby. I added this card in for the Baby matchup, so when they play their All-Consuming Terror, that 4-drop, I can just throw this down, remove it, and then their turn comes to kaput, and they have to get another set of the Baby Mew cards to put down and all that other fun stuff. So I run 1 of those. It could be worked in other areas, but it's mainly for the Baby matchup. I run my 1 Time Magic. That's the card that I may be getting rid of depending on how it goes this weekend. I figured it's still not a terrible card, because I can still keep it in rest mode for the duration of the next turn, and I have some cards that can kill cards in rest mode, so it's good. And then I run 1 of the new cards from the expansion, the Almighty Resistance. This is basically Bad Laser, or Bad Ring, I believe it's called. That's a card that got banned. Just a counter, really strong. Problem is that it is a 2 cost, so you have to pay 2 and pitch 1 yellow, which yet again I run a lot of yellow in this deck, so that's kind of why as well. I can run those over here. And then we run, so for early game, I'm thinking about running 3 of this. The Intensifying Power Trunks. It's a great card to throw down. It helps you take some life from you to get some extra cards for your Awakened side. Then also gives this card 10k in crit. I'm going to be probably running 3 of these. I want to run 2 of them just for now, just to see how everything goes. But this card is pretty fantastic. Any red deck that needs to awaken, that doesn't have any self-awakening, you want to run this. Then I run my my multicolor family package is what I call it. So I have the 2 Sun Gotens and Trunkses and the 2 Sun Gohan and Videls. So the Sun Gohan is a negate, so you can actually play this down. Basically it works as a the baby version of Gallic Gun. I think it's Gallic Gun. Basically you play, or Crusher Ball even. It's just a 2-drop Crusher Ball, but it's also a unit. So you can basically play this down, puts their card in rest mode, and you play out of 15k. It doesn't have blocker, unfortunately. If it had blocker, it'd be phenomenal. But I run this card also for another reason, which you'll see in the deck. And then I run Sun Gohan and Videl. Both of these came from the expansion pack. The Son Goku and Videl is really good for, I use this card for its effect, which you pitch this card from your hand, you tap 1 yellow, and you pick 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and drop their power by 5k. You also get to draw 1 card. So it's actually pretty good. You basically can do this, draw another card, and then knock 2 of their battle cards down by 5k. So not too bad. These cards also have some other effects, which I'm going to keep over here to kind of see once I get to that card. I run 4 of the Whis checklands. If you're running red and yellow, this is a good card to run. I have some other ideas for some tricolor decks, which I would probably run 3 of this instead. But for now, you want to get this turn 1. Hopefully you can charge it, and then you have a really big turn 2 with some other cards. Also, just makes it so you don't really need to worry about any sort of mana problems or energy problems. Sorry. So my super combos, I run 3 of the Gotens of the Goten super combo, and I run 1 Divine Cry Beerus. So I do this because my deck is very yellow heavy, so I wanted to run some red super combos just so I have a little bit of a balance here. And these 3 is when your life is below 4 or less, and this is for sparking. So if I already have 5 cards in my drop and I need to go for, like I said, a turn 3 kill, I can actually use this if I have 5 cards in my drop already, gain 10k, and then draw. So that's mainly the reason. I may run 2 and 2. That's one of the things I'm going to try to figure out. We run 4 Champa the Trickster. I love this card. Ever since I got it, I run it in most of my decks that can fit yellow cards in there. If you guys don't know what this card does already, if you have a multicolor card in your energy, reduce the cost of this by 1. So this becomes a 2-drop, basically, which is pretty fantastic. When you play this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, switch it to rest mode, and then draw a card. If it's your opponent's turn, which is, you're only playing this really on your opponent's turn, in my opinion. Unless they have some awesome barrier rival card that they're going to throw down, which I don't know about. But yeah, this card is kind of a necessity, especially since I don't have Topo. I need to run some sort of really strong counterplay to stop my opponent's turn. Now, this next part is kind of the main engine of this deck. So we run 4 Son Goku Path to Godhood, and we run 4 Son Goku Dawn of Divinity. So this is probably my favorite card in the deck. This card here is pretty freaking awesome. So it doesn't really have any effects outside of its main. So when you play this down, you really want to get this down turn 2 if you can. So this has 2 big effects. So the first effect is you can search your drop area and you can pull 1 Son Gohan Adolescence, 1 Son Goten, 1 Vegeta, 1 Trunks Youth, and one Videl from your drop and place them in your deck. Then you choose one red and yellow multicolored Son Goku in your deck with an energy cost of 3, which is what this is, and you play it. It gains double strike and dual attack. So basically, turn 2, you play this down. Maybe swing with your leader on the non-awakened side. Swing with the leader, do something. Draw the cards. Restand the energy, flip this over. Then drop this card from your hand. Pick out any of those cards, but the main reason you would want to do this is to summon out the Son Goku. And you do this, you give it double strike and dual attack, so it can attack twice, both times deals 2 damage. And then this card, when this card comes out, this card has offering. So the opponent either takes a life, or you get to draw 2 more cards, and it has crit. So basically it's swinging twice for double strike and crit. It's phenomenal, and you have 4 of these. And basically this card just allows you to play it out of your hand. Now the first effect is also really good for giving your deck more depth if you want to continue doing these rotations. And you see here, my super combo can be searched from it. So if I super combo with this, I use his active main next turn, or like I have 2 of these in my drop area, I can do this and pick up one of my super combos again. So just good recycling. This card as well, this card works. This card is a Son Gohan and a Videl. So if I have both of these in my drop, I can just pick both of these cards back up and place them back in my deck. And then also Son Goten and Trunks, same thing. So I can take this, I can count this card as a Trunks Youth, my super combo is a Goten, and take both of those cards back out. I have some Vegetas in here. I have one Vegeta, which would also go for the effect as well. So obviously in a perfect world, you would be able to grab out all 5 cards and play the Son of Divinity, but it doesn't always work that way. But then, like I said, yeah, this card here is just phenomenal. I have another card in this deck, which is Vegeta Time for Vacation. And this card here allows you to, the active main or the active battle, you can place this card in your drop area, choose one red or yellow Son Goku with an energy cost of 2 in your hand or your drop area and play it. So if I already drop this, if I use this, so basically let's say I have both of these cards. Let's say I have both of these cards out. Okay, I send this to the drop. Bring out one of these. I can then do the active battle or main for this and bring this card back from the drop, and then basically pull this Vegeta, because it counts for one of those cards, and I can actually activate this main as well. Pull this back to my deck, and then pull out another one of these. So I can have 2 dual attack, 2 double strike, 2 crit Dawn of Divinities out on the field at the same time. Because this card does not have a limit on how many you can play. So essentially the goal would be to be able to pull off a 1 or 2 combo with these cards in particular, so where if you have this down, you have this down, sacrifice this card, do the effect, pull this out, lay that down, go through the offering, play this, send it to the grave, pull this back, pull another one of these from your deck, do the offering. Now you have 2 of them. So now you're swinging 4 times for a total of 8 damage that would all be crit. It's pretty nasty, and depending on if you get the correct amount of cards, you basically can just burn through their entire hand, burn through all of their negates pretty quickly. And on top of that, if they don't take either damage, you're drawing 4 cards for the fact that you just put 2 of these down. It's freaking disgusting. That's just, so by turn 3, turn 4, you should be able to, if they don't have a good setup, you can probably end the game pretty quickly. Also, this card works against Hachiak because you throw one of these down and gets dual attack, and dual attack still counts as 1 target. So you can swing with your leader, and then you can also swing with this twice. It's pretty disgusting. It's not as fancy as some of the other decks, but I think it actually is going to do really well. So some of my other early game stuff is the Biding Its Time Beerus. You have a multicolor card in your energy. This card becomes a 1-drop crit. It has 15k, so you basically can play this out turn 2, hopefully. Play this out, swing with the intensifying trunks as well. Get both of these down. Let's say turn 2, you put down, you have a a Whis down or a multicolor card down. Play this out for 1. Play this out for 1. Take a life. Give this 10k in crit. So now you're swinging with 2 15ks with crit early game. Pretty disgusting. I was running the Villainous Beerus, which is a 2-drop Beerus, but it allows you to pull 3-drop Beeruses back from your drop, and also lets you draw a card if you're under 5 cards. But I didn't. I took it out for some other stuff. I may end up putting it in my sideboard to run maybe one of them. I only run one of these right now. I'm thinking about running 2, but this is sort of my counter to the fact that I don't have Topo. Now, obviously, it's nowhere near as good as Topo, unfortunately, but you can give a card minus 15k if it doesn't have barrier. So, obviously, Topo doesn't go through barrier either, but Topo just kind of hits your hand. This way, if someone's swinging with something really strong, I can throw this down. If it's their turn, I can give that card 10k, minus 10k, and then give it another minus 5. So I can probably kill it, generally, just by doing that. I only have one of them right now. I'm going to run 2 more with Jake is going to be giving me those. So this is a little bit spicy. So I run Relentless Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku. Not a card you really see a lot nowadays. This card cannot be KO'd by your opponent's skills. So if they have a skill that's going to kill this, KO it, it stays on the board. The reason why I run this is for the back half of my engine here. This is for my late game engine. If I don't kill them with the Sun and Divinity Gokus, I will run this. Reason why, during your turn, until the beginning of your next turn, this card has 5k. So, basically, what I could do, say we're not awakened right now, I get this card, I can swing with this. Card doesn't die if it stays here. I can awaken, restand a mana, and play out one of my Heartfelt Pleas. Basically, it's an easy target for it being a 25k, and then I basically can drop this back into my deck. I mean, into the drop area, sorry. Play this, has Offering, has Triple Strike. One of the best cards in red and yellow. You should be running it in almost any single deck. Yeah, just a really good card to use. Good for turn 4 swings. Like I said, turn 4, turn 5. If I haven't beat them yet or gotten them to a point where they're, they have no life, maybe 1 or 2 life, I can play this, do this. Generally works. I can also do the old-fashioned way, which is using the Beerus No Holds Barred. Another great card, great arrival as well, so I can play this out. Truthfully, I can play this out turn 3. If I haven't gotten any of my other cards, I still have the old reliable, is what I call it. So if I'm not awoken, I can, pay the arrival cost, tap 2 mana, play this out, kill something, and then awaken, remove him, play Heartfelt Plea, and I'm still kind of in the game. As for late game, we have the big boss monster, Baby Janempa, big boy. Play it out turn 5 if you really need to. Also another card that has Offering. You see I have a lot of cards in this deck that run Offering because my goal is to just rush at them. And if I can get this card down, if you guys don't know what this ability is, it's pretty nutty. Obviously when this card comes down, the Offering effect goes through, but then your opponent chooses they either take 3 life, and then this card goes to the drop area, which most people are not going to do unless they're already at 8 life still, and then this card goes to the drop, or when this card is played, your opponent is your opponent's leader is minus 30,000. If they don't have time magic, if they don't have I mean, if they don't have Nimbus, if they're not running yellow in their set and they don't have Nimbus, they don't have a lot of blockers. If you have some of these down on the board too, or if you summon one of these out, or if you just have something else on the board, it's gonna be pretty hard for you. It's gonna be pretty hard for them to beat you. They are not gonna be able to withstand that because you're swinging with 40k. If they don't have a negate, they're kind of screwed. So now for some tech stuff, I do run 2 of the Further Destruction Champas to give a card 10k and double strike. What's not to like about that? I run 2 of them. I felt like 1 wasn't enough, especially if they don't have any negates. I'll just stack cards on top of this, give a double strike, and then the game's probably generally going to be over. I run 1 Dimensional Banisher Fu. Just 1. I only have 1. I have Scientist Fu, and I also have the Shroud of Mystery Fu, but I felt this one was probably the best for this deck in particular, because I can also just warp a card away. Also, this deck is really for the baby deck as well, because I hate playing against baby. And then I run a Godly Aptitude Super Saiyan God Son Goku. I thought about running 2 of these, but it kind of has the same effect when this card is played. It actually warps a card, and then you also can place this card from your hand in your drop area, and also kill off a 2k or a energy cost of 2 or less. Probably not going to be doing that. I'm probably going to be hard casting this. This is basically the same card as this, except this doesn't have Overwhelm. So I'm playing this out for 1 mana to play it out, or I can do this as well, or I can play, if I have 5 energy, I can also play both of these out to get rid of 2 cards, and then I'm swinging with 2 double strikes as well. So pretty good deck, I feel. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I will leave a link down in the description below, so you guys can check out the deck profile and see if it's better than what you guys are running, and can add some stuff to it. But until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.